C-SPAN viewers know exactly what the problem is because the media doesn't seem to be telling them.
When we end the wars overseas, bring the troops home, and allow the healing to begin, it will be because of you.
They did everything they could to keep Tulsi Gabbard off that debate stage because they didn't want to hear what she had to say. There are soldiers currently deployed who weren't even born when the war on terror began. There's no reason we need to spend taxpayer dollars on defending the soil of Germany, France, and other wealthy countries. The longer we stay where we shouldn't be, the more problems we're going to be causing.
Millions of Americans swear an oath to defend the Constitution of the United States against enemies, foreign and domestic. And then they are sent overseas to fight and kill and potentially die to protect the interests of billionaire military contractors, cynical politicians, and foreign dictators. When they come home, they are subjected to the very worst healthcare in this country and treated like second-class citizens. They deserve so much better than that.
I will bring the troops home. I will turn America into one giant Switzerland, armed and neutral. There is no reason why we need to continue to be the policemen of the world.
That drives it. You are the power.
The Veterans Administration is among the worst in our healthcare system. This top-down monopoly is unacceptable for any person, let alone those willing to sacrifice their lives in service to our country.
Jo Jorgensen is going to end the wars and bring the troops home and treat them to the care that they deserve and allow the healing to begin.
We need to have a strong military defending our shores, but there is no reason for us to be defending the rest of the world. It only makes things worse. We've got to come home. I'm Jo Jorgensen, and I approve this message.
And we are the coalition. Never louder, never prouder. Outrage porn-free, civilly disobedient media broadcasting live on the worldwide Coalition Network at coalitionradionetwork.com, facebook.com/the Coalition Radio, on the mighty Twitter at Coalition_radio, and of course the mothership at, well, coalitionradionetwork.com. Let's get right down to it. Tonight is the premiere show, if you will, of Candidate Campaign Update 2020. Every week at about 9:15, after we spend an hour with our down-ballot candidates, we are going to try and bring to you someone from the campaign. Jo Jorgensen, Spike Cohen 2020. In an effort to communicate the latest issues, concerns, debates, opportunities for all of us as libertarians and all of us as Americans and all of us as free people. Kicking off tonight is perhaps one of my favorite guests of all time. He is nothing less than the vice presidential candidate, the vice presidential nominee for the Libertarian Party, Spike Cohen. Welcome to our inaugural effort of Campaign Update.
Oh, thanks for having me, Pat. I always love being on the coalition.
Well, you know, it's you're having a special night yourself, so we've only got about 10 or 15 minutes. You're with. My understanding is you're out in Ohio.
Yes, I'm in beautiful Columbus, Ohio, at Hey Hey's Bar and Grill. We are doing a candidate meet and greet and pre-convention social here at the at Hey Hey's, and then we're going to be kicking off the Libertarian Party of Ohio's 2020 convention that starts tomorrow in Columbus. If anyone's in or near Columbus, Ohio, we welcome you to come out. We are at the Columbus Airport Marriott. That's where we're having the convention, and we're having a great time and had a really great start. We're actually beyond full capacity here at the Bar and Grill, and had a lot of people come out. It was really great, and looking forward to the convention starting tomorrow.
All right, so you're in full campaign swing now. You're doing a lot of traveling, a lot of meet and greets, pressing in the flesh, kissing babies. We can't shake hands anymore. Doing the chicken wing or fist bump. Are you having fun?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I'm rubbing elbows and elbowing babies. It's a lot of fun out here. We're having a blast. No, it's good. It's this is what I wanted to do, Pat. When I ran, I wanted to meet libertarians and energize the grassroots Army for Liberty around the country, and also have many opportunities to talk to people who haven't heard of libertarianism yet, which is what we get to do every time we go out. And really just, this is everything I was hoping to do. This has been really good, and getting an incredible amount of excitement for this campaign, both from people who have been with the party for many, many years and even decades, and people who are just now hearing about libertarianism, sometimes directly from the people that are coming out to these events. So I'm very excited about how this whole thing's going to go.
Well, the messaging is outstanding. The unabashed pride and spirit of the libertarian movement is alive and well, not only in Columbus, Ohio tonight, but I believe around the country as you folks conduct your tours. I know we're all looking forward to getting you up here in New England at some point, but we've only got a few minutes on issues. So in the initial stages of the campaign, I think what a lot of us in the party want to understand is what issues are resonating with voters. Where are your challenges in discussing some of these issues? And what, if you could give me one or two of the great overriding concerns that I'll call it non-libertarians might have in for the first time meeting a national libertarian candidate.
Yeah, so the big things are right now the pandemic and the aftermath of it. And I shouldn't even say aftermath because we're still full in the swing of the thing, but the aftermath of how governments have responded to it, the police brutality and the protests that have arisen as a result of that, and then the perennial stuff that's always there, healthcare, education, the cost of living and that kind of stuff. But people right now are horrified, Pat. And I talk to people, every single day that, I hear the same thing repeatedly, that they are more scared than they've ever been before, and that they feel more, at edge than they ever have before, and that they are not happy with their choices, but they don't know what to do, in terms of who they should be choosing to try to, right this ship and steer us in a better direction. The beauty of that is that we have the best ideas. Libertarians we already know that we're right, which is why we're a libertarian. And we know that we have the ideas to fix these problems, that the Republicans and the Democrats, in their exclusive control of every lever of power in the federal and state and local governments for over 160 years, have created this mess and are uniquely and explicitly responsible for it. And continuing to vote for them and their failed promises and their false, their failed ideas and their false promises is a vote thrown away. And that the only viable choice moving forward is to vote for a party and people who are not a part of that mess, who are not the ones who created it. And that's why it has been very easy when I'm talking to people to really show them that Jo Jorgensen is the best pick, that Joe and I will fix these problems, and then applying our common sense solutions and how we will get that done.
Have people remarked yet, as they're starting to do already out here in New England, about how often the conversations that you and Joe are having with voters, and I'm talking about non-libertarian voters, how often that you folks actually will discuss a problem, but astonishingly enough, have ideas and answer a solution? Are people as surprised out there as they seem to be out here? They haven't met folks like you before.
No, and that's the thing. They're used to the what I call the Republicrat rope-a-dope. That, if you lean, drop my phone. They're used to being told if you lean. Yeah, I got you. I recovered it in record time. They're being told that if you lean right, they're being told, none of that matters. Even though Joe Biden is terrible, and we all know he's terrible, you have to. Or even if Donald Trump hasn't solved the problems and hasn't fixed the things that he would, even if he's made things worse. We just have to vote for him. We just have to vote for him, Pat, because, the reality is if you don't vote for Donald Trump, you're going to get Joe Biden. And if you lean left, you're told, I know Joe Biden sucks and he's responsible for all these terrible things that we're protesting. And, he's part and parcel of every problem that's come down D.C. for the last almost 60 years when he's not busy sniffing children. But if we don't vote for him, we're going to get Donald Trump. And it's really refreshing for them to hear someone who goes, yeah, no, I agree with you. They're both terrible. And frankly, they're the ones who created this problem and made it worse. And if we don't start voting for people who are outside of that, who have real solutions, and then I can talk to them about those solutions, then it's never going to get better. It is only going to get worse by design. And, for most people who hear that message, it's a real eye-opening moment. It's a real eureka moment that, oh, wow, we don't have to have politics that are based on two groups of people arguing over which one is slightly worse than the other, and then coming together when they get elected and working together to screw us all over anyway. That there is a viable choice, and that it not only are we not a wasted vote, but continuing to vote for them is the wasted vote.
You're in Ohio, and in what some folks still refer to as the Rust Belt, which I find to be it really just a terrible term, because there is there are great things in Ohio. There's great manufacturing. There's great innovation. Great universities. It's a wonderful place that does bear the burden of helping elect the current inhabitant, if you will, of Pennsylvania Avenue.
Yep.
But that being said, the man who would have been king, the man who was king of Ohio, a guy named Kasich, who Libertarians in Ohio, just mention that name if you want to get the crowd going. No friend, if you will, to liberty, or no friend to individual self-ownership. He has basically come down in the Biden camp. Is there any sense of irony amongst the establishment Democratic Party that in an era of great unrest, in an era of where we are undergoing a long-needed racial reckoning, if you will, all right, that in fact Joseph Biden is almost single-handedly responsible, as is one of his proposed vice presidential candidates, Kamala Harris, single-handedly responsible for a great deal of the pipeline to prison, a great significance in the war on drugs, a great presence on, if you will, this misogyny that is in fact our federal government. Have folks come to terms with that he's not this gentle, kooky old guy who just spends way too much time, as you put it, sniffing people?
So not only is that the case that they are reconciling it, some of his biggest boosters and supporters that I interact with both online and offline, when I tell them about him, they'll say, yeah, we know all that. We know he's bad. And I'll say, but you don't have to vote for bad. Right. And they'll say, yeah, but if we don't vote for him, then we'll be getting Trump. And I'll say, why don't you like Trump? And I do this with Trump supporters too. I'll say, why don't you like Biden? And with Biden supporters, I say, why don't you like Trump? And whatever answer they give, I can tell them, yeah, but the other side does that too. So if I'm talking to a Biden supporter and I say, why are you voting against Donald Trump? And they'll say, Donald Trump did this or that. I'll say, well, Joe Biden did too, or possibly even worse. Same thing with Trump. And after a couple of times of doing that, I don't have to keep saying that. I'll say, well, what's another reason? And they'll give a reason and they'll go, oh, but I guess Joe Biden does that too. Or I guess Donald Trump does that too. And I'll say, yeah, exactly. And they'll say, yeah, but if I vote for you, that's a vote thrown away. Or, you might not win. And I'll say, but here's the thing. If we've just established that a vote for Trump is a vote for Biden and a vote for Biden is a vote for Trump because there's so little difference between them to make them essentially the same candidate, then how is voting for them anything but voting for things to get worse? How is that not the vote thrown away? Even, whatever our likelihood is of winning, which obviously our likelihood goes up the more people vote for us, why would that not be the only viable vote? And we've gotten people on the strength of that. And it's happening at an increasing pace. Pat, I've talked to people that have been following politics, libertarian politics, since the 1970s. And they've all said the same thing. They have never seen this level of excitement in the general public about our messaging, about our party, and about what we're proposing. And we know that last time around, Gary Johnson and Bill Weld got within, spitting distance of making it to the debates. They got, because we have to get 15% or more in the polls. And Gary and Bill got 13% in one poll and 11% in two other polls. They got very close to being able to qualify for that debate. And I think everything that has happened in the past 4 years, plus the strength of Joe and I as candidates, have created more than enough of a closing of that gap for us to register that 15% we need to get. And when that happens, and you put Jo Jorgensen between Donald Trump and Joe Biden, two men who could barely form a coherent sentence between the two of them, two men with viable, credible rape accusations, and more importantly, two men who are part and parcel of everything that is wrong with government and the Democrat and Republicans' exclusive control of government for well over 150 years at this point. And you put between them Jo Jorgensen, a brilliant self-made entrepreneur, a woman who's ready to lead from day one, a senior lecturer who's able to break down complex ideas in ways that connect with everyday Americans, who can case by case and point by point show how Donald Trump and Joe Biden and their disgusting, craven parties are this problem, and our common sense libertarian solutions are the way to fix those problems. And then you put me between, Kamala Harris, who illegally withheld exculpatory evidence during a capital murder case, tried to get a man killed that she knew didn't commit that crime, and Mike Pence, who's busy trying to decide if he still thinks the government should electrocute people for being gay. I think we win that election so easily. We win those debates so easily, and as a result of that, the American people see that not only are we not a wasted vote, we're the only ones worth voting for. I think it'll be an amazing emperor has no clothes moment for the American people.
Which is why they're scared as hell that it could happen, and why they are going to do everything possible to get in our way. I'm Captain Obvious when I ask a question like this, but Spike, we've seen you fire up people. Right now, let's assume you're speaking to every libertarian activist in this country. How critical is it, not in September, not in October, but sometime tomorrow morning, we take to the streets and we carry this message through to the grassroots in person? You related to me a trip down south that you took with the folks from North Carolina and a whole bunch of activists. To leave us with that reception that you got, and how critical is it that we personalize, that we take this candidacy, that we take this campaign, that we take this opportunity to an incredible personal level?
Absolutely. So, Pat, what you're talking about, for those who don't know, we went and did tours in housing projects, and we talked to the most marginalized people among us, people who don't have a penny to their name, people who are, unable to make ends meet. And what I saw from people, contrary to the stereotype that they're lazy and they just want to live off government, these were some of the most industrious and creative people I've ever met. Every single one of them had a side hustle, but they're not able to get ahead in life. They're not able to build that side hustle into a proper career that can pull them out of poverty because they can't afford the occupational licensing, Pat. So they actually they try to keep their business, small enough so that the police don't come by and take everything from them because they can't afford the tens of thousands of dollars in cost of compliance. And so when we shared our message with them of ending those occupational licenses, we had people signing up. There was only a few of us. It was a proof of concept, and it unfortunately had to be side table because of the pandemic. But we had less than a dozen people go out, and we signed up nearly 100 people over the course of 2 days to the Libertarian Party of North Carolina, and we got many more contact numbers too as well. And so it is absolutely crucial that you, the people listening to this, the grassroots army of liberty fighting for a world set free in our time, be in every way, both online and offline, interacting with people in a positive and engaging and empathetic way, meeting them where they are, agreeing with and validating their concerns for what they're facing, instead of trying to argue with them over policy points or philosophy. Agree with their concerns and then share how common sense libertarian solutions work. Tell them about our campaign. Invite them to go to jo20.com. Invite them to, go on the Jo Jorgensen and Spike Cohen social media on Facebook and Twitter and YouTube and Instagram and everywhere else. Encourage them and engage with people, and call into your local talk radio. Call in, write letters to the editor of your newspapers. In every way, big and small. Interact with people. Run for local offices if you're in a position to be able to do so. Donate to our campaign or join our team by going to jo20.com. Anything that you can do to join. It is you that will win this. When we end the wars and bring the troops home, it'll be because of you. When we end the war on drugs, it'll be because of you. When we end the ATF so that you can defend yourself and your families and communities the way that you see fit, it'll be because of you. When we get the government out of healthcare so that the costs go down and access goes up, it'll be because of you. When we end the Fed and the IRS and remove the barriers and burdens that government puts in your way every single day so that we can thrive and prosper in ways that are unimaginable right now, it'll be because of you. When we kick the cronies out of D.C., when we do all of the things that we are looking to do in order to be able for us to live freer and happier and safer lives, it'll be because of you and the work that you do every single day. When I say that you are the power, what I mean is that it is you who will create the massive social movement that is the libertarian movement and this libertarian campaign. And when Joe and I go in and are sworn into the White House and begin the work of removing the boots from the neck of the people so that we can work together and thrive in ways that the Republicans would never allow, it will be because of you. And I thank you for that. And Pat, I thank you for your time. And I invite everyone that's listening to this to tune into jo20.com and join us if you haven't already. And if you have, then I thank you for everything that you're doing. And Pat, I thank you as well.
Amen, brother. Amen. Spike Cohen, he is your candidate. Your candidate for the vice presidency of these United States. Folks, time to take it personal. Spike, thanks for taking the time out. Go back, party with the folks in Ohio, get to work with the folks in Ohio, and give them coalition love to the folks from Ohio. All right, buddy? We are the coalition, loud and proud, outrage porn free, civilly disobedient media broadcasting live on the worldwide coalition network. Folks, if you're listening to us for the first time, we're going to spend about 20 minutes or a half hour every week with folks from the campaign activists, managers, candidates. We're going to bring the message of Joe and Spike to the grassroots. Let's get fired up. Let's take it personally. Have a great night.